All right, hello everyone. Welcome back for another month, March 2021. Yeah, do that every month. All right, tonight's agenda, we're going to cover scooters, bikes and motorbikes. But unfortunately, and a couple other things, but unfortunately, two people that were bringing some bikes to display couldn't come, so not as much fun, but I've endeavoured to look into everything kick scooter, bicycle, road scooter and motorbike related stuff and give you a good overview. So it might just be me talking mostly, but after that Graham's brought in something for us to look at, so we'll have a look at that as well. Okay, first of all it's going to be event stuff. So we organised the Springwood Logan IKEA, whatever you want to call it. They put the charger in last month and we had an EV event there. We got 22 EVs, I think it was. It's not the greatest, it's a bit hard to see up there, Liz, isn't it? Just cycle through, mate. But we got Renault Zoe, a couple of original Leafs, a newer Leaf, a few MGs, multiple Model 3s, Kona, Ioniq 28 kilowatt hour, Ioniq 38 kilowatt hour, and the Mini, which is a pretty good showing of variety. We had the Holden Volt there too. So yeah, the next one is going to be at the Gold Coast in just after Easter, 1 week after Easter on the Friday. So yeah, is anyone interested in going to the Gold Coast one from here? It's a bit far for some Northsiders, but I'll put out the Facebook thing anyway, and you can join if you want to. This weekend we've got the Noosa Ev Expo coming up. It hasn't got the greatest forecast for weather at the moment, and it is an outdoor event, but we'll soldier on, I think. I'm pretty sure it's 10 till 2, that event, but on top of that I'm doing the drive from Toombul up to Noosa if you're interested in tagging along. There's already about 9 people who said they're going to be going, a lot of other people interested. A bit hard to gauge who is and isn't coming on those type of things, but I'll be there at least, so if you want to come along from that point or meet along the way, just send me a message and I'll meet you. I'll slow down at North Lakes or on the highway further up and let you catch up. But we should be up there about 9:30. On top of that, we have just a few future events. We've got the Logan Action. What is it? Gympie Envirotech. Gympie Envirotech. Once again, if anyone wants to drive up in a group, you can join me on that one. In May, I'll do a meetup at Sunshine Coast. There's also the Logan Eco Action Festival, also known as LEAF. June, we've got RCQ Motorfest, and the ACF want to do an EV day, so we'll probably tag into that. And the committee were having a chat about doing a bit of a Brisbane Expo in October to tie in with Drive Electric Week, so we'll be looking for people who want to get involved with that as well. So that's really it for most of the events. There is a few other bits and pieces, but I'll put them up as we get closer to the time. For the Noosa run up, just if you're not that familiar, there is quite a lot of charges along the way if you're worried about heading up and not making it. I won't go through the list too much, but Paul has said that he has this one here was a Type 1 and a Chartamo at what's the place? Noosa Blue, and he's taken over control of that and he's changed it to a Type 2 now. and that should see a lot more usage, and it's going to be 20 cents a kilowatt hour, which is pretty good. So this is Forest Glen, so we have obviously Coochin Creek, North Lakes, Toombul, all the way from Brisbane, so there is a fair bit around. It's just what I was trying to point out with this graphic. Okay, we've got, what's up next, Les? Yep, there's a picture of the one at Noosa Blue. I should have just gone to the next slide, shouldn't I? Yeah. Yeah, 50 kilowatt, that's fine. Smart charge. Smart charge is the business, right?
Yeah, so just as our prepared first charger on the network, so
yep.
available on the app. So I'm really asking anybody that's in Noosa if they can go and try it and give us your feedback. If you can just go to smart-charge.com.au and we'll reimburse your charge. But I'm just looking for some feedback on the app.
Yeah, well, we'll be there up on the weekend, so we can definitely swing by there. All right, into the main section, electric kick scooters. I'm sure looking at the audience, you're all really into this, but as part of the broader e-mobility sector, I thought I'd just cover off some things, just in case people are looking at this type of thing. But this comes with a disclaimer. I'm by no means an expert on this, but I did do quite a lot of research and searched various stores in Brisbane for what they're selling, cross-reference pricing and all that type of thing. So for the scooters and on-road scooters and bikes, I only really kept it to a few metrics because obviously you could just go on and on and on all day about different things, but I really just kept it to the price, the range, the top speed, and the battery size. So these kick scooters, we're going to start with the cheaper end ones here. So this is about the cheapest one I could find that is really for an adult, and it's more like the ones you ride or see around South Bank and the Gold Coast. $749, 24 kilometre range and top speed 25. Now, I'm pretty sure there's a standard that sets that you can't go faster than 25. So some of these are limited to that speed and some are not. If they were rated to go higher, then they're probably set to 25, but I've actually just put on the top speed that they can do. So we'll just roll through these scooter ones, but basically, this is the Inicum base model, $899, pretty much the same stats as the $749 one. So 25 kilometres, 27 kilometre top speed, 25 kilometre range. Next one, bud. So I don't want to skip over this too quickly because this is probably the best one that I could see. 65 kilometre range, $799, and you can get those at Costco and JB Hi-Fi. So, or when they're having a sale. But the reviews on these seem to be pretty positive. You see a review section. It's not just one or two people writing comments. It was 50, and they were saying this is very good. And you can see some of these photos I've put in with the guy in the background, so you can see sort of the height of the vehicle itself, so it's quite good. Half a kilowatt hour of battery storage there, so I wouldn't mind one of those. $11.99. So after those three, what I found is the prices actually shoot up quite significantly, and you can pretty much spend as much money as you want on a scooter. They have some incredible pricing. Next one, Les. We skipped the two $11.99 ones. Once again, so 64 kilometres, that's the same range as the one that was $7.99 for, what, $400 more. But, different technology built into the scooters, different battery size. So interesting that the other one had a 500 watt hour battery and it was getting 64, and this has a 1 kilowatt hour battery and it gets 64. Possibly.
Suspension as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so, all right, what have we got next? 2,800, you know, starting to need a helmet, I think. So, 80 kilometre range, 55 kilometre hour top speed. Next one, mate. Yeah, $3,000, 110 kilometre range, 65 kilometre top speed. Next one. 120 kilometre range for those that have range anxiety. 120 kilometres. You couldn't drive 120 kilometres on a scooter, I don't think. No, not in one day, for sure. 60 kilometres each way, like that's a long trip, all right? And we got, so that's the 010X, and I think there's a 011X, which is coming up. For all you young at heart that, yes, the 11X, 5,500. Now you can tell there's significant improvement in the structural quality of this vehicle. 2.6 kilowatt hour battery, 100 kilometre top speed, 150 kilometre range. So, like, you have to be pretty. You'd have to have, you know, that might suit some people. Don't know about me, but
I'll be wearing that.
It doesn't take much risk really to fall off at 100 kilometres an hour. Like, and you're just going to make a mess, aren't you? So, moving on to electric bikes now. Once again, with this section, electric bikes. Okay, there's a lot of mountain bikes that just have a battery and hub motor and that type of thing hooked up. But I was very surprised with electric bikes, like mountain bikes, at the price compared to, because a lot of these are just assisting you to ride because obviously they've still got the pedals, so they're more like a hybrid. But you've got, this is the cheapest one I could find, just about, $11.99. Like, I didn't understand that they were that expensive, to be fair. And they really go up. There's a few in this price range, and then they start moving more into the cross-country assist type bikes, and then they've got all the top gear for, you know, off-road mountain trail with assist, basically. So the price just skyrockets. So we'll just go through this. We've got the Pro Gear E-Trail, 1,300, 70 kilometre range. So that's 70 kilometres based on how much, like if you're pedalling as well, maybe downhill. So I don't think if you're going the full 25 kilometres an hour, it goes that far. Yeah, just a couple more options. For electrics urban, nearly 1,800, 60 kilometres range, 25 kilometre top speed. I have it on good authority that if you go higher than 25 kilometres, they actually cut out as well. So we have the EMOS iRide, $2,000, 70 kilometre range, 25 kilometre top speed, half a kilowatt hour. Pedal brand, the Coyote model, $2,000, 60, 25, pretty similar to the last one. And just for good measure, I thought I'd put this one on because a staggering 13,400. I mean, I don't know what the difference is between those other models and this one, but this one must be made of all the top gear. This is a proper, you know, go off a cliff type. It literally says in the ad something along the lines of you can go down cliffs in this or something. So you'd want to have $13,000 worth of safety gear too, I think. So that really covers mountain bikes. Not really too much to say in that space. We really want to talk more about the motorbike, so we'll go on to the road stuff now. And if you guys know of any other models, you know, sing out, because I did try and look for everything that was available, and if I've missed something, just let me know. The Fonza Rally brand. So really what I could see was there were only a handful of brands that are doing electric stuff. So hopefully I get to cover them all here. So Fonza Rally, a fairly well-known Australian brand. They have the Arthur, comes in a $4,000, $5,000 and $7,000 option that increases your range or your top speed. They're considered a road scooter, but this one here goes, well, these two, I think road scooters are limited to 50 on your open license, but once you go over 50 kilometres an hour, I think you need a motorbike license. So just got to be aware of that. The Fonza Rally X1, 4,800, 80 kilometre range, 90 kilometre top speed. I mean, that's just a decent enough scooter, a direct replacement for internal combustion. Now we have the second brand, Super Soco. Has everyone heard of Super Soco? They seem to have some nice bikes. These, they look like a nice motorbike, but they're actually a bit shorter than standard road bikes that you'd see. And they do have a motorbike in something similar to this. 4,800, 80 kilometre range, and you can get a second battery that'll double that range. And top speed 50 for licensing, and 1.5 kilowatt hour battery. All right, the more traditional scooter, we have $5,000, 80 kilometres, 50 kilometre top speed, 1.5, very similar, just different styling. Now the Super Soco TC Cafe is the next level up, and it's 5.5, 80 kilometre range and 50 kilometre an hour top speed, and 1,800 watt hours. Now, I might wait till later on, but apparently these do faster than 50 kilometres, but I don't want to be advocating on a recording for that. Okay, next one. All right, we have the EMOS. So these were some of the models we were trying to get in tonight. $4,000, 90 kilometre range, 50 kilometre top speed. The Wild T, that one. We have the Wild 1, $4,000, 90 kilometres, 50. These all have the same battery, so they're pretty much the same spec, just different modelling. And the Wild, it's just called the Wild, no other designation, 4,200. The AVA joined Wolfgang at an event down at Springfield not too long ago, and he had these at the opening of these, and they looked pretty cool, didn't they, really? They had test rides, and I know Wolfgang's always open to doing that type of test ride event thing. So once again, top speed 50, and they're essentially classed as scooters because of that top speed. All right, a few other EMOS options that you have for scootering and e-mobility. There's the iLark, $1,900, 35 kilometre range, 25 kilometre top speed. And more like the scooter, you have the iTango, 4,400, 50 kilometre range, 50 kilometre top speed. As we go up through the range, we've got the iTank. All right, so these are actually three-wheeler, if you didn't work that out. Steering, we've had them in the hall, and they actually steer quite well. 6,300, 62, 80 kilometre range, 70 kilometre top speed, and a 3 kilowatt hour battery. And the Viper is 5,800, 60, 70, and 3. Now, these are more aimed at delivery companies and that type of thing, but thought I'd just put them on there so you guys are aware that they are an option. Okay, and electric motorbikes. All right, so Fonza Rally, we had some Fonza Rally scooters before, but this is the Naked, NKD, Naked, and there are 4 designations, A, S, Plus and X. Now, they're really in the motorbike section because they can do over that 50 km/h speed, so you will require that licensing. They are on the smallish side, but they're 8,000, 10,000, 12,000, 15, depending on basically what range you want. So the top one, the X, 200 kilometre range for $15,000, up to 100 kilometres per hour. Super Soco. Now, I think I said there's a TC in the scooter section, and there's a TC Max. So this one goes 110 kilometres with a top speed of 95. So it's very similar, but this one's 8,000 and has a 3 kilowatt hour battery. But that one's in the motorbike section because of the top speed. Okay. We have the Savic, another Australian company. This one I do not believe is released yet, but it's coming quite soon from what I could read online. That has an Alpha, a Delta and an Omega based on, so starting at 13,000, going to 17 and a 24,000 option. 200 kilometre range, so not too bad. We have the Harley Davidson Livewire. Now there's multiple of these for sale for 50 grand. So I'd say that's roughly, and they're in Australia, so that's roughly the price. The range is rated at 153 kilometres, 95 kilometre top speed with a 15.5 kilowatt hour battery. Now that's massive, but only getting 153 kilometres range. So.
I have a question. If the top speed is 95, how can you do 0 to 103 seconds?
Very good, Graham. It could be. Like I said, I'm not an expert.
Next to do the top power.
That's 95 miles.
Yeah.
It might be miles, okay.
Miles per hour.
Well, we'll check that out. I knew there'd be a mistake on this 53 slide presentation somewhere on there.
Yeah. The dude at Takata took off to go to Goldman and Herbert couldn't keep up.
Okay. Just off the mark though, or on the long run?
Well, he didn't want to get a ticket.
Yes. And Evoque Urban S. I think there are approximately 50, there's 2 models, the Urban S and the Urban Classic, which is coming up. The best info I could find on these were there were 15,000 and, yeah, go to the next one, mate. And 15,000 and 15,500 based on what shape you wanted. So that's really it. Yes?
That Harley Davidson, 95 miles per hour.
Miles per hour, yeah. Thank you very much. So that's 150, yeah, 150 top speed. That makes sense. So, but the review I read of the Harley Davidson, they seemed to be surprised that they could hear people talking on the sidewalk or hear birds chirping and stuff because they didn't have some super loud motor anymore. Yes, so while we're on the subject of motorbikes, did Dave or John, did you want to introduce your bikes or say anything about your bikes? Don't have to. Well, we'll come and check. So we've got Dave and John are both bought in Zeros, and yeah, we'll just spin the live stream around and have a look.
Yeah, they're already
Nice one.
So this one's started off as a...
You want to talk?
Oh, right, sorry. This is a 2014 0S. It's got 40,000 kilometres on it. It's got a 70. It started off with a 50 kilowatt motor, similar to Dave's, but various adventures. It ended up having a 75 kilowatt motor with a 600 amp controller. So it's gone from a lot of fun to absolutely ridiculous. It'd be the only zero in the country that can wheel stand. You can see, well, you can't see from that side, but one thing about these is that they're pretty quick off the mark like any electric vehicle. But if you have a look at the rear sprocket, it's got a big rear sprocket compared to other motorbikes. Basically because you've got an electric motor, maximum RPM is around about the 6,000. So to get you going to 155, you're in second and a half gear the whole time. So even though on these you can leave anything for dead, it's pretty funny at lights, you can leave anything for dead, you are in second gear, so if you're coming onto a highway and you've got a bit of speed up like 30 or 40 kilometres and you have some idiot try to do something, you can just leave them absolutely for dead once you've got that inertia, once you've got your inertia up.
How many speeds does it have, John?
It's single speed, so it's a 5 volt throttle, controlling the VSD, variable speed drive, so it's no gearbox. Bramo had a gearbox on their electric bike, and that was a disaster. Like, it basically lubricated the rear tyre, There's a hell of a lot of torque in these things. As you can imagine, 75 kilowatt motor, electric motor, the torque is phenomenal. I took it to a dyno and he said, I can't read it. And I said, wind it out. I still can't see it. Wind it right out. Oh, fuck! Because it's electric motor, torque's from zero. So if you put a gearbox on the end of that, you lubricate the rear wheel, which isn't a good look. Charging on, so charging is interesting. Like, they just have it's basically a computer IEC cord that plugs into them. This is one of the big failings with the Zero. The chargers are under here, and the whole system runs on CAN bus, but the Zeros are notorious for earth faults on their CAN bus, which blows up the controllers and the chargers under here. So this one is, there are 3 chargers in parallel on them. I'm down to probably 1. So on the internal charger, it'll only get up to about 55%. I did have 2 quick gear chargers bolted on the side, so it looked a bit like a Zero. But then I had an event which resulted in that and a bionic shoulder and a destroyed charger. So I took them off. And now I've got a $120 Chinese charger that takes it up to 100%. But they're notorious for failing their, failed again. They're notorious for failing their internal chargers.
What range do you get?
Pardon? What range? When I first got it, I could get to Balamble and be completely flat, which wasn't too bad when I had the external chargers on there because it was like a 2.5 hour charge. Now I would be lucky to get to Helensvale. I reckon I've probably lost 20% battery capacity over the 40,000 kilometres at least. The state of charge indicator is a guessometer, so you've really got no idea. Like I was just saying to Dave before, a couple of weeks ago, I was down to 25% and conked out, had to push it 5 kilometres. They get heavy up to 5 kilometres. But yeah, so range anxiety is a thing.
So when you fully charge, what does it say?
It says 100%. Oh, kilometres? It tells me I've got 150 kilometres range. But at the moment, like, it was fully charged at Geebung, Newman Road, this evening. And I came home and came here. So what's that? 25 kilometres at the most?
Maybe. Yeah.
And I'm down to 87%. but that 87%, it drops exponentially. Yeah.
Well, on the charging, mine's got a new battery, so I'm getting about 220 Ks. But everything else is the same, except I've got some motor envy.
Are you, what about your efficiency? Do you get efficiency numbers about watts per kilometre or?
Well,
you keep track of that type of thing?
we have that.
You have to do it manually, do you?
Watt hours per kilometre is 40.6 watt hours per kilometre.
That's pretty good.
Yep. So far this bike's used 1700 kilowatt hours, which may or may not be true. That's on 41,000
And
kilometres.
they've got regenerative braking.
Yeah, but it's pretty useless. It doesn't recharge, like if you, I don't know how you found it, but rolling, coming down Mount Glorious, you might pick up 1%.
Oh yeah. But you lose that going up anyway, don't you?
It's got 3 modes to it. So it's got Eco, Sport and Custom. And I have played with the Custom to try and get that roll-off kind of thing as you would with an ice bike. But it's just annoying. So I just ride in Sport all the time and hit the brakes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What do you do?
I've got 30% roll-off regen and 100 on the brake. And so, yeah, coming into corners, I don't use my rear brake. It's just a really nice cornering resistance.
All right, just off the throttle. Yeah.
I suppose you do a lot more twisty work with yours, don't you?
Yeah, twice a week.
Yeah, so this is purely a commuter, like purely around town. So it's just mad nuts, flat out, stop.
And I guess we'll just wrap it up with, if you had the opportunity to buy these, go back and buy these again or not buy them, would you still buy them? Or would you have bought a different electric bike, or?
I'd probably look at something different, yeah.
Something
they're
different?
pretty flaky, I find. They're excellent, absolutely excellent commuter, and absolutely nuts and a lot of fun, and I love it.
Depends what your application is, does it?
Yeah, as a commuter, brilliant.
Yeah.
But
I'd buy it again, but if Energica sold here, then I'd get one of
that's
them.
the one.
Because they do sell in America, I believe, don't they? New Zeros and that type of thing.
Yeah.
And they don't, no one imports them?
You can't, because Australian rules.
Okay.
Like...
What's preventing...
The boys are buying the Energicas in New Zealand because they've got sensible rules over there.
Okay. What is it that's preventing getting them into Australia? What rules?
You can't import new vehicles.
Oh, okay. I thought they changed that recently to, if it wasn't sold here, you could import it.
No, I haven't.
Only just recently. But anyway. Not on motorcycles? Okay. All right. Well, thank you, gents. Muchly appreciated. Thank you for bringing them in, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of interest after we finish up. I think we're just going to take a look now at Graham's motor hooked up to a battery. You're right to talk into the mic and stuff, mate?
Okay, so before we start, this is Jack, recently joined our business, come to learn how to make electric cars. Hang on a sec, we'll just go through and explain to them what all these bits are. Yep. Okay, cool. All right, so what we did here is we're trying to make a system that makes it easy for people to do their own conversions. So we've got a simple AC motor, simple controller. We've gone to all the effort of making up our own wiring looms. So we sat around the last couple of weeks in our spare time and basically run up the wiring looms. We had this all set up on a workbench, and when we went through and we tested each wiring loom on the setup, made sure they all worked, all had the right switches and everything on it. And the whole gist of this is that if I sell this to somebody, they don't have to worry about the wiring. They've got the right plugs on the right appliances, everything just plugs together where it should, provided they just plug it in where everything should go and hook up the high voltage power, press the pedal, the motor should go. So these are Nissan Leaf cells, these are second hand. I've got a good supply of these at the moment. So what I've done is try to do like a package deal for something, for a little car, a little Honda, Swift, I don't know, Daihatsu, just small cars. This is only a 40 kilowatt motor, so we don't want to put it on like a Commodore, it'd be way too small. So a small pack of lithium-ion batteries, just the bare minimum, which would be 12 kilowatt. The controller, the motor, the wiring loom, the accelerator pedal, the safety switches, the vacuum pump, all the bits and pieces you need to do a car yourself, which should just leave you just the fabrication work, the mounting the motor, mounting the batteries and so on. We're doing that $11,000 and just trying to make it affordable for people to have a crack at their first electric car. So basically battery pack, controller, we've got 2 high voltage cables there. We have a big red emergency switch, and the idea of that is that if you're working on any of the stuff, you press it down, breaks the circuit. If you're in an accident, press down, breaks the circuit. So it's your first go-to safety device. There is another safety device, so it's called an impact switch. I don't have one in this rig here. It's a very simple switch. It's just a pendulum mounted inside the cylinder, and if you flick it with your finger, it'll pop up and it breaks the circuit, and it would be in your ignition circuit, so it would turn the ignition off to the controller. And you have to have that. It's as simple as that. Those are the 2 basic safety things you have to have. The third safety thing is, and it comes with the kit, is a 400 volt, is it? Fuse. Is it 400 volt? No, 200 volt. 400 amp fuse that goes in the centre. You put it within the circuit of the battery pack, and if it blows, it separates the pack into 2 halves. Nobody can get hurt. And the BMS, which is not here, we're giving people an option. They can have either an Orion or a battery and BMS. Okay, so technically you hook up the 3 phases to the controller. You plug in your main loom. In your loom you've got two sensors. One is senses the trigger wheel on the back of the motor. It gives it a pulse rating, so it can work out things like speed and so on. And the other sensor is a temp sensor, so if it overheats, it'll generally cut the controller back to half, like a limp home mode. So we open the switch. We have a forward reverse switch. And press the pedal, not too hard. And that's it. That's your electric car kit. It's as simple as that. That's what we're trying to do, make it simple. Because a lot of people seem to get all their wires crossed, I think is a nice way to say it. Yeah. So if anyone's interested in something like that, give us a holler. But that's what we've been working on, trying to get this sort of plug and play situation happening. Are you right there, Jack?
Yep.
Yeah. Everything good?
Just double checking the regen works.
Oh, okay, that's right. We have regen too.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, no worries. All right. That's it. Anyone wants to come over and ask us some questions at the end of the meeting, please feel free to talk to Jack. He's the new guy.
Are you selling this as a kit, Graham?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a price or?
Yeah, 11,000.
11,000.
Yeah,
Okay.
Twice as many batteries.
All right. How many kilowatt hours?
It'll be 12.
12 kilowatt hours. Okay. And everything else pretty much just a
Yep.
plug and play.
Pretty much. Yep.
Excellent. All right. That just about wraps everything up. Is anyone else?
Hang on, but one other thing. If you're going to work on it, get yourselves one of these. Come and have a look. For God's sake, get yourself these sort of tools, all right? This kit was only about $300. If it saves your life once, that's probably worth it. You know? But you've got everything in there. You've got your spanners, you've got the sockets, you've got a T-bar, you know, and they're all heavily insulated. Good for 1,000 bolts.
I noticed the 10 mils missing.
Right there. Haven't lost it yet.
It's all right, mate. That was a joke. That was a joke.
Yeah, so if you're working on electric cars, and like a lot of the kits now are getting up around 320 volts, I've got some kits coming that are 500 volts, you know, so this is 1,000 volts. This is safe to 1,000 volts. After that, you're on your own, all right? You shouldn't be playing with electricity that high, all right?
Okay.
But yeah, think about if you're working on cars, get yourself one of those on eBay. I think it was $290 or something. Yeah, money well spent.
All right, brilliant. Thank you once again, guys. That's good. I'm sure we'll have more talk about that afterwards. Did anyone else want to have a word? Simone? Well, hello, Simone. Come over here. Do you want to be on camera or not?
Oh, I just want to talk about Noosa.
Okay. The cameras are facing this way.
Oh,
that's
okay,
all.
I'll come all the way over here. Hello, everyone. So Noosa is currently still on this weekend, though it may still be washed out, I'm not sure. What I really need is for those people that are coming up, I need your name and phone number to pass on for COVID and all that, in order for the people organising it to have a list of people who are helping on our stall, please. That would be really helpful. Put your name down even if you intend just coming for 5 minutes, that way you're covered, right? Shirts are hopefully done for the weekend, so there was some delay getting them to the lady that does the stitching. I'm not sure, the manufacturer just took their time. So she's promised that they'll be done by Friday. So anyone coming up to Noosa, I'll be giving them out to you at Noosa. If you're not coming, I can mail them next week to you.
And you're taking orders?
I am taking orders if anyone hasn't done their orders. Dark blue with white piping, for anyone that's asking.
Okay.
There's always one, isn't there? Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. That's it. Time for a chat. And we'll end it there. Thank you very much.